Okay, welcome everyone at this beautiful morning. Is it already Thursday? I think so. Is it Thursday? Yes.
And it's afternoon, Aneta.
Yeah, the days at the Animest Festival are flying like this because, of course, in a great companion of fantastic women, but also great men. Time flies. And we gathered today because we already had the chance to listen many interesting masterclasses of the animators. And today we actually sit together with festival animation organizers. So we're gonna present a bit of the behind the scene stories. We are gathering today, and actually the title of our meeting is "Women Love Animation," which I think we will all agree is true. And the question is, which we will try to maybe discuss later on, is: does animation love women?
Yeah.
And we will see what do we think about that? And let me introduce myself. I'm Aneta Ozorek. I'm the creative director of Kaboom Animation Festival, with a bit lower voice because I joined Animest already on Monday. So it's day by day a lot of interesting talks and gatherings and meals and drinkings. And but we have already also a guest who joined us just yesterday evening.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you can introduce yourself and say a bit things about your festival.
Yeah, I'm Waltraud Grausgruber, the director of Tricky Women, Tricky Realities, a festival in Austria. Our focus is on animated film made by women. And I want to show you first the trailer of our festival from this year. And we have an artist in residence program, and the winner of the artist in residency is almost always making the trailer. And this trailer was made by René Zahn. And have a look.
Say all was dark for over a year, and the whole world cried with anxiety and fear. But from our great tears has emerged a new way. So come celebrate with us our 20th birthday. Oh, hey!
Animation oxygen.
We are not. Our festival takes place around the Women's Day, that's always around the 8th of March. And we are not only a festival, we have a lot of activities during the year, and we could make, together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a compilation of Austrian animated films that go around the world during 2 years. And as we were celebrating our 20th birthday this year, the ministry gave us the opportunity to make a short clip about our work, who and what is Tricky Women. And that's the trailer we made. Please watch.
Am Anfang war Ende gut, alles. Hochmut kommt vor und ein Bild sagt mehr. Ein Bild sagt mehr als eine Welt, die einem manchmal seltsam erscheint. Ein Bild sagt mehr, als man selbst sagen könnte, wenn man nicht mehr weiter weiß. Ein Bild kann laufen in die Zukunft, wo es keine Unterschiede mehr gibt. Ein Bild kann sagen, am Anfang war Ungleichverteilung noch groß geschrieben. Und genau deswegen müssen wir dagegen kämpfen, sonst haben wir verloren. Ein Bild kann sagen, wir gehen mit gleicher Bezahlung für alle d'accord. Ein Bild wird zu einem Film, wird zu einem Trick, wird zu einer Geschichte, die erzählt, reproduziert, Realitäten schafft im Leben und in Gedichten. Ein Trickfilm macht sichtbar. Ein Trickfilm belichtet. Ein Bild sagt, machen wir endlich 50-50. Ein Tricky Women Festival zeigt Geschichten, Frauen schreiben sie, Frauen dichten. Vor und hinter der Leinwand braucht es Veränderung. Braucht es Bewusstsein für Gleichstellung in allen Ländern. Und ein Bild sagt mehr als, die Verhältnisse dürfen so nicht bestehen. Ein Bild sagt mehr als 1000 Worte. Und all diese Bilder möchte ich bitte sehen. Die Filme, die Geschichten von Frauen abbilden. Ich will sie sehen, hören, darüber lernen und darüber berichten. Ein Bild wird zu einem Film, wird zu einem Trick, wird zu einer Geschichte, die erzählt, reproduziert, Realitäten schafft im Leben und in Gedichten.
A very tricky leader. Lots of about the pictures, but no pictures.
This means to me. It means truly a lot. Above all, it means that there is somewhere in Central East Europe freely accessible space for feminist solidarity and sisterhood within animations circuit.
I think of friendships, alliances. I think of amazing Viennese audiences.
It is really very important what you are doing to promote female authors and female voices.
Tricky Women, Tricky Realities to me is like a smorgasbord of how a bunch of different female and gender diverse artists see and interpret and materialize their interior world when they can substitute the laws of physics for the laws of the imagination through animation.
Empowerment and networking in an incredibly kind and supportive way. Tricky Women is idealistic unruliness in the best possible way.
I really love the amazing and dedicated crew of people that stand behind this festival.
They continually make the world of animation, but also the city of Vienna a little bit more female and a lot more colorful.
Because it's very important to create a safe space for women, director or women in animation, to talk about our art and how we can have issues in our work, and also like our knowledge of animation, screenplay and writing.
And stand up for women creativity and women in general.
Through winning the Artist in Residence award, Tricky Women gave me 3 months in beautiful Vienna, gave me 3 months of sitting at Vienna cafes.
Is that the support of the filmmakers doesn't end with a festival but goes way beyond that, for which they have a very special place in my heart.
You made me come to Austria, and in Vienna I found my way to shoot my film.
Oh. I think now everybody wants to just run to Vienna and start the residency at your festival. It's like a great trailer. Yeah.
The spoken word at the beginning was a spoken word poem by Jasmo. She is an Austrian slam poetry spoken word artist, and we gave her our content, and she made this poem. And I hope you understood the idea that Tricky Women got more and more visible, so that we try to make women more visible, and the other was just a selection of some statements, because it's always hard to talk about ourselves. So we asked the artist to tell us what it means to them. And so the last one is to give you an overview about our place and also about our activities. The Museumsquartier, where is our office located, it's a cultural area in the city center of Vienna, made a clip about our work.
Am Anfang war Ende gut alles. Hochmut kommt vor.
I can watch it again. It's so good. Yes.
So sorry.
I think you just read my mind, you know, because I was like,
sorry.
yes, let's hear.
Ich bin die Waltraud Grausgruber, Festivalleiterin dieses weltweit einzigen Animationsfilmfestivals mit dem Fokus auf Animationen von Frauen. Uns gibt es seit 2001. Wir wollen die Frauen auf den Bildschirmen und auf den Leinwänden sehen. Ihre Geschichten, ihre Bilder, die Welt von ihrer Warte aus sehen. überall, wo wir auftauchen, sei es in China, sei es in Norwegen, sei es in New York oder in Wien, man ist mitten in der Diskussion von Geschlechtergerechtigkeit. Ist ja was uns alle angeht. Das ist ja nicht nur ein Frauenthema. Ich bin überzeugt, wenn endlich Geschlechtergerechtigkeit realisiert wird, dass es auch eine bessere Welt wäre. Also seit dem Beginn des Festivals hat sich schon einiges verändert, weil jetzt gibt es einige Bewegungen. Es gibt Women in Animation in Amerika, es gibt die Femmes Anime in Frankreich. Immer mehr Organisationen poppen auch auf, um daran was zu ändern, um den Frauen mehr Präsenz zu geben. Wir akzeptieren auch Kooperationen gemeinsam mit Männern, aber Frauen müssen in den zentralen Positionen sein. Es ist ein Festival der Inklusion und nicht der Exklusion. Unser Publikum ist ja auch natürlich sehr gemischt, das ist auch das Ziel. Im Animationsbereich ist eine ganz neue Sprache möglich. Deswegen hat dieses Medium eine unglaubliche Kraft, ist unglaublich divers und öffnet so viele Räume, wenn man nicht an das Physische gebunden ist. Man kann die Welt neu erfinden, wirklich komplexe Themen in kurzer Zeit kommunizieren, andere Standpunkte vermitteln, Themen, die eben ein faires, gutes Leben betreffen. Alles in allem, Animation ist Power pur. Die größte Herausforderung ist, dass wir jedes Jahr um unsere Gelder kämpfen, wenig Sicherheit haben. Jedes Festival ist ein Abenteuer aufs Neue. Es wird nie Routine und das ist aber auch das Schöne dran. Es ist nichts fix jedes Jahr. Im Rahmen des Festivals kann die Jury eine 3-monatige Residency vergeben. Sie ist einer unserer 2 Hauptpreise und einer der begehrtesten Preise, weil die Künstlerin kann dann 3 Monate an etwas arbeiten, für was sie sonst vielleicht nicht die Möglichkeit hat. Es ist völlig frei, was sie in den 3 Monaten macht. Wir fragen allerdings immer oder bitten sie, ob sie den nächsten Festival-Trailer macht. Die Arbeiten, die hier entstehen, gehen in die Welt hinaus und sind erfolgreich. Das ist einfach genial.
So that was.
Am Anfang.
Oh, I did not put it. Comes again and again.
Because these words have to be repeated and repeated again and again. Yes.
Yeah, this was a look behind our scenes, but there's already a lot of stuff I wanted to repeat today. It's already in this visit in our office, so you can see our working place and a little bit of the Museumsquartier, where the residency takes place.
Yeah, this is such a great project. Seriously, it's like it sounds like a dream come true. It's so nice also that Animest make this like a small attempt to bring like a concept of tricky woman here. That majority of the guests this year, majority of all the juries, everybody we are all women, and it's a nice experience, I have to say. I had that once at the Fantoche Festival. It was also the female edition of the Fantoche Animation Festival, but I got the feeling that, I don't know, maybe also because it's after pandemia, it's this like a very nice warm feeling of a community, but also a safe female community here. So it's really nice. I already say from this perspective of this couple of days which we had here, but I would love to immediately start the conversation about the women in animation. But I maybe
you should present your festival.
Yes, of course. Although now I'm clearly thinking immediately about also turning Kaboom into the only female festival, because that's such a great concept. I really like it.
But it's fantastic that there are more and more festivals focusing on this or have a look in the selection of the juries and the programs and the balance of gender, so that they're getting more and more. And Kaboom is already has done a very far. You already implemented a lot of things concerning gender balance.
That's true. It's probably like, because we usually don't realize that, but we are both women and festival directors, which actually is not so common. So for us, certain things are pretty obvious, and we are really like, for me, it's like having the 50-50 division of a woman and man in the jury, or in the selection of the film, or in the retrospective we organize. It's like a very natural, but yeah, I sometimes forget that we are living in this a bit like a bubble of. I've noticed it even once when I was fulfilling the questionnaire about the gender equality, and actually I've noticed that I made a mistake because I started to put the data about women first, and then I noticed that male are first in the first column was male, and then I realized that someone who created this questionnaire was a man. So he put it men as the first one, and for me, I'm always putting the female as the first one.
Because men, that's the norm. You know, for this reason, it's always the first.
Yes, but let me first say a few things about Kaboom Animation Festival, which takes place every year in Amsterdam, in Netherlands, in March. So we are just before the next edition, 2022, 28th of March till 3rd of April. That's the moment when I would really hope to see the same face again in Amsterdam. That would be fantastic. I'm the artistic director of the festival, curator, education expert, and that's our jumping logo. The festival is pretty young, but actually it happened that it has a pretty long history, because before it was the Click Amsterdam Animation Festival and Holland Animation Festival. And 3 years ago, we decided to merge and to create Kaboom. So it is a super fresh project, but at the same time, we are pretty old. So it's like, I feel like I'm young and old at the same time with our festival. And I have to say that this new name and new concept, and maybe some changes also with the festival, it's a great thing, because it's like a new start for the festival. So after some history already behind, you have the chance to rethink, redesign, and recreate your festival, which I think it's very nice for the every event, when you are really rethink certain things which are very basics for you. And we take place every year in a very beautiful building. I have to say we are very lucky. This is the building of the Film Museum in Amsterdam. So it's a great location, and it's a very nice, beautiful also building with full of white walls where you can screen animation. So it's perfect for us. But festival is only like one thing which we organize, because we also try to present the programs and presentations all around the world. Like, for example, here in Animest, where I'm coming and talking with you about the women in animation. What is very interesting for the filmmakers, that if you don't want to do the festival submissions by yourself, you can contact our department of submissions, and then we have one person responsible for that. So we have like a distribution service. You can sign in as a filmmaker with your film, and then Ursula, because that's her name, she's working for the upcoming 2 years with your film and sending it to all of the festivals. So that's something which our festival offers, which is very nice. We are now in the it's the last edition of the festival just happened. It seems like yesterday, and this year we happened only online. So that was really tricky. Actually, I think for every festival organizer, it's a bit weird. And we hope that in 2022 the festival will take place physically and online. And what is it there for you? So we are looking at the festival for a bold, innovative, fresh artistic statements, and we are looking for all kinds of animated films. So we have an experimental competition, but also we are gladly presenting all the production of Cartoon Network, because we also love their things. So we are not dividing animation on the let's say high artistic sentences and statements or the low pop culture films, but we really love all kinds of animation. So you can really present it at our festival, and we are looking for all kinds of formats. So TV series, specials, films for shorts, feature. So whatever you do in the animation sector, you can just send it to Kaboom. We are also very interested because we are really, I think me also personally, I'm very interested on all the animated projects which are at the edge of different disciplines. So if you also make an installation or artistic project to present in a very unusual way, this is something which really it's always interesting for us. We always like to find this new ways of telling the stories by using the animation as a medium, but in some new fresh format. We had a very good gadgets every year, and of course we have several competitions. This is the award which we have. We know that animation is a very heavy thing to do, so we know that sometimes you feel like this person under the rock, but also by having a rock as an award, we want to say you rock because you finalize your film. So congratulations. And we have several competitions. We have the best feature, best short, best student, best musical clip, best documentary, best experimental, best kids, best VR. So there's a couple of awards which you can get at Kaboom. And yes, every year in June we are open call, and then we are waiting for your films till 1st of October. But because we finalize the selection till December, still, if you can catch me, for example, now at Animest, I'm still looking for some titles to add to our competition. The selection process is very transparent, so we have a group of reviewers, and we have the rule that every film has to be watched by 2 people. We have a system of from 1 to 5 points. We are giving points, and at the end, the pool of the best film comes to the table. And together with a group of programmers, we decide which film will end up in the program. Yeah, that's a very nice system. Yes, you can of course visit our festival. You can choose if you would like to visit us as a filmmaker, as a volunteer, as when you are an experienced animator or student. So it's. We hope we are like an open community where everybody are welcome. This is our volunteer team in 2019 with our festival blouses. I think what is important for us always is that we are always screening films, of course, so we are like showcasing the most interesting films. But we also love interact with our audience. So we are making several sessions where there's this clear connection, where like at Midnight Madness, we have the, lots of interactions. This is a crazy night. With women watching porn, we are learning together about the female pleasure. We have the 16mm program. Our curator, Roloff, is interacting, showing the vintage cartoons and also interacting with everyone. And I think one of my favorite moments of the festival from the last time when it happened for real was the moment when we were sitting in the lobby. There was the conversation with the filmmakers made by Anna Ozorek, our curator. At the back of the conversation, there was a tap dancer who was tap dancing the feelings she had to the words of the filmmaker. We were recording the sounds, and this sound were used by the Steven Voloshin, who was doing the scratching the film workshop at the balcony. And then I also saw that there's a group of 11 guests from Korea, because we had a Korean retrospective that year, coming out to the coffee place. And then I look at this beautiful crowd and think like, this is the festival I love.
Yeah,
So that was the Kaboom moment.
Great. Yeah.
We have, of course, international guests, artists in focus. You can see Mike Holsworth, Nora Tomei from Cartoon Saloon. And as I mentioned, also we have a competition of VR, and we are presenting not only VR but also installation and AR. If you didn't check that yet, also at Animest you can see the AR project Animated Woman. And it's a great project of VR posters, which can also be moved by just like a very simple application in your phones. And we already did it in Amsterdam at Kaboom, but now you can also check for the posters in Bucharest, on the Bucharest street. That's unfortunately not for all the online watchers. I'm really sorry. We have the workshop. Oh, I see the Steven Voloshin. And then, yeah, this is our favorite thing, meeting and talking with people. We have a filmmakers talks, competition. And in 2022, we're gonna meet to discuss about the legend and myths. So there will be a space to talk about what is your story as a woman, as a filmmaker, as an animator, as a Black person, as a LGBT person, as a whoever you are, you can share the story with us. We're gonna talk to whom the stories belong. So we're gonna also ask who has the right to tell certain stories. And we're also gonna talk a bit about the tribes which we are living in. So maybe male, female, animators, live action filmmakers, all kinds of tribes. And I hope that at the end of the festival, these tribes will be sitting together next to the fireplace, which is now on the poster of our great graphic designer, Leila Ali. This is a bit about the industry, debutante ball. But I just want to finish this presentation soon because I'm super excited also to talk with you about what was so clearly mentioned in all the leaders which you said. So at the Kaboom Animation Festival, we really hope you're gonna enjoy yourself. But to fully enjoy yourself at the Animation Festival as a woman, there need to be certain things out there. So let's talk maybe about these things.
I think Animest is also like the fireplace you were mentioning here. We're sitting around and celebrating animation.
This is our fireplace.
The whole festival is like a fireplace. And I think film is such a powerful medium. I already mentioned it yesterday, because all the images we see influence our ideas and who we want to be, who we dream to be, and animation is such an instrument, such a strong medium to empower and to make change, because as I said in the video, but I can't repeat it often enough, I think, because as you're not bound to the physical, so everything is open, you can construct a whole new world and you can put it together how you want. And that's a big chance to tell other stories, to talk about the unspoken, unspeakable, and animation is so, within 5 minutes you can communicate a really complex topic. And I think this is not possible in another medium, because in a 5-minute short film you can talk about so many things, about sexual abusement, but also about pleasure. And so it's so powerful. And for this reason, we need the images made by women, because we are 52% on the world are female. And there's no balance in the images that we see. And just one example, but you all may know, in the 100 top grossing films in the States, they're only in 30% of the films, they're speaking female characters. And to be a speaking female character, it only needs to say one sentence. So you can imagine how low is the presence in the main top grossing films.
Yeah, but it's super cool that you mention actually some like a percentages, because that's, I think, the huge thing which we are lacking. We are lacking the datas about what is actually the amounts of women, men among the filmmakers who are submitting their films, among the submissions that we, like, for example, our festival only this year added another column of gender to the submission formula. So if I wanted to check actually what is the percentage of women and men submitting their films, I have to calculate it for the last 5 years for this questionnaire I did manually. So I think it's good that you mentioned that. Let's start with the data.
Statistic makes facts, you know, and so in Austria also we have a gender film report, but it's not only about animation, but in the film business in general. And before it was always people were saying, oh, there's no imbalance, but then it came really out that women still get much less fundings, even public funding, but this can't be the situation because public funding has to be equal, you know, and there are now a lot of things are changing. So we are happy because this research was funded by public money, not public money. How do you say?
By the
So in our society, you still need statistics to prove something. We believe in numbers. So. And the other thing is that I think we need databases because sometimes the argument is there are no women to engage, and also to tell the women that it's important to be in the directing position, that if you have worked together with a man in the same level, you have done it together, that you also have to have a look, that you're mentioned in the credits on the same place. Sometimes I'm surprised that there is no awareness how important it is to take the space.
Yeah, but then I think there should be like lots of changes on the all the layers of the system. So starting from the education one in schools, that there like a certain knowledge transferred out there, but that there is a quality among the, for example, the experts and teachers who are giving the masterclasses and lessons, and giving all the knowledge and support to the female young animators to develop their project. Then, of course, on the level of being a professional filmmaker, to also give women the tools, the power to get the funding for the films. Maybe meet at the film fund not only male experts, but maybe also like in the film funds or all the funds, to be sure that your project will be judged also by the gender equal commissions, for example.
And sometimes people don't know how to calculate. So it's good to inform each other how to calculate, not to know how much money can be asked, not to calculate it too low, because there were also statistics that people, not always, but very often women don't ask for, that women ask for less money.
Yes.
And on the other side, not the big budget are given in the hands of women. There are only a few really big films from Pixar and in the American film industry, in the feature film industry, that are made by women.
Yeah.
That's evident. And there is still this unconscious bias about this, that big budgets that the industry or the funders don't trust women to deal with a big budget. There was one focus on this in Annecy 2 years ago, I think, on this unconscious bias. There are some, if you're interested in this, there are some statistics published by the Annenberg Institute. If just to Google Annenberg Institute, and then you have all this survey to undermine, to support your arguments if you are in discussions like ours, but here that's so fine.
Yeah,
that's not a fight. That's a cooperation.
Because funders need data. So if you need data, one source is the report which you just mentioned. If you need more data, there was also like a research which was just finalized by the Short Film Conference. It's an association of the short film industry. And they just make a research about the gender equality in the short film industry. And there's like really lots of interesting discoveries out there. I was also making some statistic for Kaboom for Click. And I was also very curious, how does it actually look like? So in my case, I was I think to maybe give you the major points of the results of this research. First of all, there is among the festival directors, there's definitely majority of men. Among the programmers of the festivals, this is, let's say, pretty equal. In case of Kaboom, I've noticed that, which was like because I made the research for the last 5 years. So anyway, the number of the submitted films by male was like much bigger than the female. But what was nice that I also discovered that even though this percentage was like, let's say, 70-30%, 70 like 5 years ago, 70% of films submitted by male, 30 by women, then we end up in the programming with, let's say, also this proportion, but 60-40. So the fact, and I'm pretty sure that the fact that among the curators there are so many women in the Click and Kaboom case, that's the fact that among the curators and programmers there are so many women has a strong influence on the fact that later on the female stories and female films are chosen. So it's really important, I think, for the festival directors, in my case, of course, I'm putting lots of attention to that on the level of the reviewers, on the level of the curators and programmers, we are really aiming towards equality, gender equality out there. And I think it has an influence later on the programming of the film. I've noticed, and I think we discussed that this morning, only one issue, and it's still in animation, it's difficult, that when there are retrospectives, so we are talking about the historical programs, then we still, it's much easier to make a retrospective of the masters males because they are like really promoted from many years. We know all the names of the masters, but we don't know too many masters women. So I think there's a huge need of making a research in that sphere, even the historical research, to make sure that all the great, fantastic women masters are not forgotten, are remembered, and we know their works. So that's, I think, something which would be very interesting field to work on, to make sure that in the future we will present equally, we will know the history, how it went, not only how, let's say, male-focused historians were presenting it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have because you, of course, your festival is fully made by women, so...
No, we accept films that are made in cooperation with men, we accept if it's 50-50. But yes, women have to be in the directing position, at least 50%.
Yeah.
And we open it also for trans and intersexual persons. So it's a little bit more difficult now.
Yeah.
Before it was more simple, male and female. Now it's not non-binary. It's you can't just know from the name. And
did you have any time a problem to find let's say interesting masters, women masters of animation to present their films?
No, not really. But we don't have this term of masters. You know, there are so many strong artists, filmmakers that who have already a big oeuvre. But I think we need role models, and we just can't mirror cliches that are really old-fashioned. I think we should show the world in the films how it is, with all the tricky realities by women. I also an aspect of animation I wanted to mention. We use it during the year also to empower other people, to give some material to organizations that are fighting against violence, gender-based violence. We cooperate every year with 8 women's organizations in the context of the 16 days against gender-based violence at the end of November, and they're really happy about the material. Then when they can screen it in their language courses for refugees, or also we connect sometimes conference organizations to start with an animation, or we cooperate with museums. And I think animation really
can change a little bit the world.
Yes.
It sounds so.
I agree.
So,
Absolutely. Yes.
because, as I said already, within 5 minutes you can be it can be the starting point for a topic, because in 5 minutes you can communicate such complex topics, and they don't lose anything of their intensity. And every year I'm so moved, not only moved, but animation is, I'm organizing it since 21 years now, and every year are coming amazing animated films in techniques I've never seen before, or that are so impressive. And I think in animation there is almost no topic that is not spoken about in animation, and there are no taboos, and you can communicate about topics like domestic violence or sexual abuse without, of course you can shock people with this, but you can bring people into the topic to understand the situation better, what it means to be in this situation. And I think this is, if it's a for example, a documentary about sexual abusement, you hardly can watch it. And in animation, it's a little bit different. I don't say that's easy to watch. But also funny things about female pleasure, the program you were curating, for example. So it's I don't want to say that the topics in animation are always heavy and about problematic stuff. I also want to say there's a lot of pleasure, of fun, and experimental work that opens these new rooms that don't exist, but that open some kind of freedom in communication. So the big variety and the richness in this, that's really such a lot of wonder and emotion and
No, absolutely. Like I'm almost like swimming in this like a ocean of imagination, which actually animators can create. But I think to make sure that all these stories are told and all these voices are heard is the fact that we need to make sure that the women are feeling safe enough to tell this story. Because if first of all in school taught by the chauvinistic teachers who are like make them feel uncertain, make them feel unsafe, make them feel ashamed of their stories, then certain stories will not be told. If they are like later on are professional filmmakers, and the decision about the quality of the films will be done only by male experts, and they will and their access to the funds will be limited. If later on during the working on the project they will be facing encounter with another filmmakers who are for some reasons silencing their voices because they feel better, they know better because they are males, then also certain stories will be told in a different way than it would be happening if that would be safe environment to work.
For this reason, it's so important to see the images on the screens. Because if you can see it, you can be it. That's the motto of one script call we have in Austria, but not for animation, but general for a call for scripts, to look for scripts that bring other role models in the world. So for this reason, it's important that more female stuff is presented.
Yeah, that'll be so interesting to actually gather the forces and knowledge, and not only as Cartoon Brew did a couple of, I think it was already a year ago, they created the list of the female experts to invite as a jury members to Animation Festival. So if you have any doubts that female professionals and experts can be jury members, you can just take a look on the very long list of the experts on this one.
Yeah.
But also, like I think you have also like such a great knowledge about all the additional possibilities which are happening now. That there are like additional funding, additional residency programs where you can, as a woman, for example, get the budget for your next project. It would be maybe nice to put all the knowledge together and put it in one place that all the interesting female artists can find it in one place. Maybe that's something which we can work on.
It's always interesting that the talks are so emotional when the focus is on women, because it's still the normal thing. If there is a podium and it's only men on the podium, if it's the other way around, people say, oh, men are missing, and as long as it's as the male is the normal one, as I said, it's important to change this. Now I forgot what I wanted to say.
It will come. It will come. It's like there's something this moment. But then definitely we're gonna work on maybe creating some kind of base. It'll be nice to also ask all the great animators here to put all this knowledge together about these trainings and residency programs and all the possibilities. And I think we, as a festival director, we have also like a knowledge about and maybe our expertise is to how to make our festivals a safe, nice place for the filmmakers. Because I think sometimes female animators at the festivals or schools or in the other spheres, they just don't know their rights, and they are feeling that they just don't have a full knowledge and overview that they have the right to feel safe and to feel like equally at the, for example, film festivals. I really like I don't know if you are already, if you already know that, but there was a great presentation of the Luce Grosjean last year or 2 years ago in December about how the festivals should treat you as a woman to make you feel also safe and decent. That actually reminded me once that I was a bit surprised when I came to one Korean festival, and in the information sheet for the guests, there was information about that they will put lots of effort and they will just that they requested the guests not to harass the volunteers, and I was like thinking, wow, that's so probably something like this happened. That's one of the guests came and he or she was not polite enough or like some kind of harass the volunteers. But you know, that's
shocking.
That's I was very surprised. It was already a couple of years ago, and now with the Luce Grosjean text, and I have these points actually out here, because I think it's important for you to also know it as a filmmaker who are going from one festival to another. What kind of rights do you have, and what can you expect from the festival organizer to deliver to you as a filmmaker, female filmmaker, to make you feel safe and great at the festivals, like we hear now in Animest. So, for example, I'll maybe read the points, which was like the statements to the festival directors. Selecting films of problematic directors. So stop inviting people who are coming and harassing other people. Stop inviting them. If it's during your festival that you are learning that the one of the guests is problematic, let your staff know, especially the women, because they are the ones who will have to be nice with your guests, so they are most exposed. So, you know, volunteers are usually very much, they try to be nice to all the guests. And even if someone is, I'm really sorry, an asshole, they have to be nice to that person. So I think there's a limit of assholeness that as a volunteer you have to respect, you know? If someone is a truly asshole, just stop being nice to that person. It's like you don't have to be nice to the person who harass you. That seems so obvious, but it's not. Speak with them, because they might even don't know that they are problematic. Especially if you are a male festival director, your voice will be more listened to ours, female. Don't let only women dealing with these questions. And that's actually request a very strong thing that making the world better for women is also in the best interest of men, because we will all live then in a much safer and better space. So we all have to speak up to the people who misbehave and behave shitty, to let them know that it's shitty. Because sometimes they are really leaving the festival after 7 days and they feel they are gorgeous, they are fantastic, and they just had a great experience, and and they don't know that among the women they are already like done. They are really like, there's this like this guy, just don't go there. It's like, don't talk with him. He's not cool, let's say. That's in a nice way. Let other programmers know. We know you are speaking to each other. So if already a festival programmers knows that some guests are coming and harassing the other guests, just send the message to your other programmers that this guy or woman is coming and treating the others in a very bad way. Don't allow it to continue this process. And this is very important. Please believe women. No woman wants to be considered as a victim or named someone for revenge. So the first thing, whoever comes to the male or female festival organizer, whoever comes to you and say that someone harassed me, this is just like, okay, let's do something with it. Like, let's protect that person. And later on, you're gonna, like, the question if that person is telling the truth is like ridiculous to me. It's like, why someone would like to make a fuss about some imaginary situation? So, like, you just have to believe whoever comes to you and say that he or she was harassed.
Of course.
That's obvious for us again.
But that's not only a question for festivals, but that's
of
always
course.
the topic.
Yes, yes, of course, yeah, you are absolutely right, yes. Make talks about the feminism and other social issues when they are most people attending for the, social issues when they are the most people attending the festival in the beginning of it, so people can share their thoughts. Yeah, it was like a bit messy from my side, but I think it's about like talks like this. So that's so nice that we can meet, and I hope that you don't need a women edition of the festival to make a talk about women in animation. It's like, you know, this kind of panel, this kind of talk should be pretty normal for all the festivals, not the female editions of the festival. It's just normal thing that your female guests need to feel secure and need to know their rights. I don't know if I miss any point. If you are asking women to speak about feminism, ask men to share their thoughts about way they are benefiting from being a man. We should have equal time to speak about our work than men, our job, and not being a woman. I'm sorry, now I again got confused. Then I think maybe I really recommend you to read the whole statement of Luce from December 2 years ago. And Luce Grosjean, she's a distributor and producer of Miu Distribution. But I'm super curious, it's only one of another statement and the symbols for me that there are some kind of changes and transition in the animation scene. But this is not the only one, of course, because this change happens for last couple of years. Do you already, as a festival organizer, feel that it's easier for you to organize Tricky Woman Festival?
No. Concerning the films, we always have a lot of fantastic films, and we even can't screen all the films because we have 5 days and there's only a certain time. So sometimes we can't screen the films we would love to screen. But you're asking about the budget or
about the
financing?
That it's more and more obvious for people that attention to female artists is
okay. No, but it's always in my experience in this 20 years, but I organized film festivals with a focus on women before. It didn't get easier. We still have to fight every year for the budget because there are sometimes questions now. Maybe you have a big budget now because it's everywhere it's the topic. That's not the case. Our budget did not really get higher in the 20 years. So, and it's still very emotionally sometimes the talks. When we talk about, does it need this focus on women? And I always say, as long as there is no balance in the budgets, in the presence, on the screens, before and behind the camera, so it needs a festival like ours. And just as I said, in this Tricky Women is a statement, and that's good. Everywhere where we go, we are in the middle of the discussion, and that's good because it's an impulse to think about it. Does it still need this to focus on this, or is it quite normal?
that there is a balance between the genders. It's hard to find sponsors because the companies say we don't want to exclude men. Though men are also our customers, and so it didn't get easier, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so I really hope it will, in upcoming years, that will be really something that people will realize how important work you do as a festival, of course. But I'm super curious also where we were gonna go as an industry, because there are really some changes. For example, I've noticed that there is more invitations from the big companies. I see that we have to slowly go into the end. But then maybe then we can end up with some questions, because I'm curious what will be the changes for the future. So, will the female directors get more opportunities to make feature films? Because that's a big thing, that the budget goes to the guys. Will the production system change a bit when, for example, women will decide that they want to produce their films on their own terms? Like, for example, Melody today talked that she decided to direct with three women. And they want to, instead of being one director, they want to have a team of creatives working on the film. Maybe that's their decision. So what's gonna be a change when the women will really speak up also about how they want to produce their films?
Yeah.
And then what kind of stories will be out there for us, for our festivals?
There are even statistics about if women are the script writers or women are in the directing position, that they are more female main characters. If you engage more women, also the stories that are told on screen will change, not so much, but there will be more female characters, more stories told from a point of view of women on the screen, and what we need. That's what we need. So I think one thing is engage women, and the example you just mentioned, maybe it's not such a strong hierarchy in the female
group,
female-oriented productions.
I'm super curious.
But I don't want to say that there's no fight in between and women are always peaceful. That's not the message.
Let's embrace. I would say let's embrace all the audience. All the voices and authors, all the diversity of them, and then let's hear all the...
As you said, I really want to repeat it. If you make a better world for the women, everyone will have a better world. Even when the working conditions are changed for women, if their men also take some responsibility looking after the kids, if both genders work only 30 hours, it will change the life for everyone. It's if men don't have to earn the money or be the strong sex and everything. So we would have a different world, and everyone would profit from it. Women and all other genders.
And that's, I think, the great point of this talk. Fantastic end of the talk. So thank you so much for being with me on this stage. It was a pleasure to talk with you. And I only feel now sorry that we talk so much, but this is such an exciting subject that we didn't talk with our audience at all. Yeah. So that's our only fault. But I hope that it's not the end of our conversation. To be continued. And
thanks to Animest for focusing
so
and for giving us the space.
Yes, thank you for giving us the space, and see you around. Yes, bye.